right, so welcome everybody to Sprites, Bytes, and Pixels, episode 27, where we all talk with accents. Today's a special episode. We're going to be talking about some of our most anticipated games. I have with me my special guest and co-host, Mr. Wilson. Please say hello.
Hello.
So, Wilson, we're talking about some really cool things today, which is anticipated games. Now, before we get into anticipated games, what we want to talk about is games that we're currently playing. So, other than you doing funky accents, what is the current game that you are playing?
Well, I'm always saying like in our first episode or in the last episode I said I was playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm usually playing more than one game, and that's always the case. I went back to The Witness recently, which is, you ever played The Witness?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember? Oh no, that was Phil Fish. What did he do? Oh yeah, Braid. Did you ever play Braid?
No.
Okay. So Braid was done by, oh God, why can't I remember his name? Yeah, I can't remember his name. But the creator of Braid is like a genius. And he did The Witness. Braid was like a 2D side scroller.
Mm-hmm.
What the interesting thing about it was that you could manipulate time, or you could rewind. So you would have to do these puzzles, and if you failed, you could just rewind time and like try again over and over until you eventually did it. But it was known for its difficulty. Unfortunately, I've never played Braid, which is something I'm a little disappointed in. His name was Jonathan something. Jonathan Blow. That was his name. Jonathan Blow. Jonathan Blow, after Braid, years later, created The Witness, which is another puzzle game, but it's a first-person game. And in this one, you kind of you use these grids to progress through certain areas. So you'll come up to a gate, and there'll be a grid on that gate, and you have to draw a line in a certain pattern to open up that gate. Or to turn on a machine, or to access a button. But it would always involve these line puzzles, and these line puzzles had there were like ways to solve them, whether it be through the environment, whether it be through like something written somewhere. I'm describing it right now, but as I'm describing it, I will show video and gameplay
Perfect.
of The Witness so people can see what I mean by grids and lines and stuff like that.
Nice.
And it's a really, really good game. It starts off very simple, and then it gets super difficult. And it's open world in a way as well, because you can kind of go to different puzzles as you see fit. You open up one area, and you can go in like two different paths, and then go in two more different paths, and kind of like, because you're on this like island trying to do something in the middle of the island. So when you solve this, like this big area, something happens in the middle, and then you can kind of go at your own pace to other parts of that island, and eventually something needs to happen in the middle for the game to end. And there are like hidden endings. There's like a very secret ending, which is really, really weird, and you can access that right at the beginning of the game if you know how to do it. And like, this is kind of like what Jonathan Blow does. This is kind of his style. He kind of does things in like a very interesting, intricate way. And it's also very beautiful. It's a very good looking game as well. I'm surprised you've never heard of The Witness.
No, never heard of it. So that's what you're into right now?
It's the first, maybe the only, because it's only digital. You can't buy it. It's never come out of physical, and it's been out since like close to the beginning of the PS4, maybe a couple years into the PS4's life cycle.
Mhm.
So it's been out for a while, and
Nice.
it was so it's the first digital game that I paid full price on. I think I paid like 40-50 bucks for
Wow.
it. Yeah,
Good chunk of money to drop down on a game.
on a digital copy. I
Yeah.
know, and I never do that, but
Yeah.
I want to play it so bad. And I think the kicker is eventually it became a PlayStation Plus game. So
But there you go. There
yeah,
you go.
bye, man.
Well, for me, I am still powering my way through God of War, which has been very fun. Honestly, like the one thing that I do like about God of War is it's very open world. There's an opportunity to explore a lot. But I think I've just gotten to the stage in the game where I'm like, I just want to beat this game now because I've been like lagging behind on it so much. If I was playing it consistently and maybe I was able to put like 2 hours into it on a daily basis, I'd probably do a lot more exploration. But right now I'm playing it on hard mode, and there's been a couple of times where I actually got really stuck, and I'm like, shit, I have to go back down to like regular. So I'd go back to normal, like kill this boss, and then go back to hard. Um, and honestly, I'm not the best at doing these crafting components of the game or even following the proper like experience tree or any of that stuff. So I just go in, and I think I'm playing it a little bit different because Juan's the one that recommended this game to me. And I'm like, dude, I just all I do is use the throwing axe. And he's like, he barely ever used the throwing axe. So I'm not, what I've found is even in Ghost of Tsushima, I used bow and arrows a lot. And even in God of War now, I use my throwing axe and I use the kids' arrows as well, way more than actual melee fighting. So I guess I'm just like a natural long range player.
When you played Ghost of Tsushima, did you use like the other items, like the kunai knives, the wind chime? You
I
know,
would I would use the wind chimes once in a while. The thing is, like initially in the early stages of the game, using the bow is enough. But as you progress into the later stages, you do need to use all of those different components because there's larger mobs that come in. It might be different if you're playing on normal, but on hard, it was definitely very, very tough to take on. Like you do these raids with like small little bunker areas or small little like fortresses that you're supposed to take over. And if you're just playing like gung ho, run in and try to fight everybody, you're gonna lose. So you have to be a little bit stealthy. So what I found is I would use pretty much everything. Wind chimes is probably the one that I use the least of. But blow darts, poison blow darts, frenzy blow darts, all that stuff, I used to play quite a bit, use quite a bit.
back to God of War though. It's funny you say that you're more of a range person. Like that's how I would cheese some enemies sometimes because I would just throw my axe or I would
Yeah.
I believe. Did you have like a? You only had your kid's bow, right? You didn't have
Yeah.
your own bow. God of
Or we
War.
get
It's
throwing axe.
just your throwing axe. Okay.
Or once you unlock the Kratos blades, you have like a almost like a scorpion, like Scorpion Mortal Kombat, get over here kind of thing, where
Yeah. Okay.
he pulls it back in. Yeah,
Um.
it was fun.
There were some annoying. Yeah. There were some annoying areas in God of War. Especially like later on in the game.
There's some
Um.
very annoying areas. Like right now, I had to fight. One of the bosses was you have to fight like one's like a fire and one is an earth type golem, and they're both pretty jacked up. And then I found out afterwards that ranged attacks don't do them damage because they regenerate their health. So I had to watch a YouTube video on it and realize I have to go in and I have to do close quarter combat, and I suck at that. So I probably died like 4 or 5 times, and then I got lucky on my last try and I ended up beating them. But that was a tough match.
I remember. I remember that battle.
That was
Yeah.
not a fun battle. No.
You're like in a kind of like a cave area,
Yeah.
and they pop up in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember that. Um. God of War was a game when I was playing it and enjoying it, and I was like, I'm gonna platinum this.
Oh shit.
And I was determined, but one of the trophies was like find all the birds.
Oh yeah,
and,
Odin's sparrows.
and I spent time like in every area because I don't like using online guides. I was looking around.
Oh yeah.
I was around for like all these stupid birds, and I eventually gave up. I was like, this isn't like. I started not having fun, and when I start not having fun,
Yeah.
that's kind of I move on. So like I had already beaten God of War, so I was just kind of like, looking everywhere,
Yeah.
trying to find them, and just it got boring.
Yeah.
I've I've considered going back to it because I've heard it looks really good on the PS5.
Oh, okay. Nice. Well, I mean, like, I think this is a great segue because we're talking about games that we're anticipating the most. And as some of us know, God of War Ragnarok is coming out. That I believe is coming out next year. So that should be a highly anticipated title for us to check out. Hopefully, I beat the game by then.
But we haven't even seen anything of it, have we?
I personally haven't, but the thing is, I try to stay away from trailers. So even when I like Ghost of Tsushima, hands down one of my favorite games of all time, and I bought a collector's edition of this game without watching a single trailer, and I bought a special edition so I could play the game. So for
That's
me, like I like samurai, I like open world, so I'm like this makes sense. For God of War, now that I've played God of War 4, I do see myself playing all subsequent God of War games as well. So I think from an anticipation standpoint, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Are you somebody that needs to watch trailers before you form an opinion?
um sometimes. There are games where I just kind of know they're gonna look good. Um and there are games where the trailer kind of makes me want it like right away. Um but I think my most anticipated games are the ones where, and this is always where I've seen gameplay of it. Like I'll see a trailer, it'll be a cinematic movie trailer.
Mhm.
I don't care. I want to see gameplay of a game before I make my decision.
So what are some games you are looking forward to based on the gameplay you've seen?
The first one that pops in my head is the new Breath of the Wild 2.
Yes.
Um, and once again, I can't remember what the hell the name of the damn game is. It's Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. No, Breath of Wild 2. What are you called? What are you called?
Let me see if I can get it before you.
Breath of. I just got Breath of the Wild 2.
That's
Nothing.
what I'm seeing too.
There's a name for it though.
I don't see that. Untitled: The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild sequel on Wikipedia.
I thought it was called something. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Anyways,
How
yeah.
did Breath of the Wild come out in 2017? It feels like it just came out like 2 years ago.
Um, I don't know. First, you have never played it,
That's true.
so maybe that's why it seems earlier or recent for you,
Yes, yes.
as opposed to me, who got it when I got my Switch because it was a uh, it was a launch title.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And I'm disappointed. I'm surprised that I'm sad that you haven't played it because I think you'd
Is this
really
going to
enjoy
be
it.
a Horizon Zero Dawn all over again?
Yeah, it really is because I told you about Horizon Zero Dawn. You're like, you know what? I don't like it. And I was like, Robin, go back to it. And I think this is something you need to do with Breath of the Wild. Although I think you said it was Ocarina of Time. Like we had a conversation
Yeah.
before, yes, and I think you said Ocarina of Time was where you stopped.
No, I played a little bit of Majora's Mask, but Ocarina of Time is the last one I remember spending like a ton of hours into.
You
Majora's Mask
didn't,
I spent some time into, and then after Majora's Mask, I didn't play any of the GameCube titles, any of the Wii U, and now Switch titles.
but did you beat Ocarina?
I want to say I don't know if I beat it, but I must have come really really close. Like I played Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo, and I loved that. And I played Ocarina of Time, and it was interesting, but I think I was spending way too much time fishing in that game, so I never really got to progress too much.
The fishing isn't even that good.
It is, man. It's so much
No,
fun.
it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like seriously, you don't just try Breath of the Wild. Like when you have an
How many
opportunity.
hours do you think it would take to beat Breath of the Wild? If I wasn't trying to like do all the side quests and stuff.
Uh,
Like can I beat it in 30, 40 hours?
maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I put like 100, 130 hours into Breath of the Wild. So,
Holy fuck.
but it's also one of those games where you want to explore everywhere because like the areas look so different from each other.
Yeah.
Like one minute you're in like this snowy mountain looking over the world, and the next you're in like a desert area, which is like you got sandstorms and you have, you know, the heats, and it gets really hot in the day and like really cold at night, and like temperature is something you actually have to manage in the game. Like if you're too
Wow.
hot, I think you'll get really sick, or you'll start losing health, and you get really cold, the same thing.
Mm.
You'll start losing health. But yeah, so anyways, I'm looking forward to Breath of the Wild 2
Yeah.
because I've already seen some gameplay of it. Um, it's it's got like it looks like you're in the air because
Mm.
it's got like floating islands,
Cool.
which sounds really awesome. Like it's going to be an interesting world to explore. I don't know if it's going to be all floating islands, like in the sky. I mean, I don't mean like on
Yeah.
in water, in like kind of like Bioshock Infinite in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super digging it, or at least super digging what I saw.
So speaking about what you saw, I like there was you know how much I love Spider-Man PS4. Before Ghost of Tsushima, that's all the only game I would ever talk about. So I'm like, oh, Spider-Man's so amazing, such an incredible game. And then Miles Morales came out, and I think it might have been like Ron Dean who got that game pretty early, and I was asking him like, how long did it take for you to beat this game? And I think he said like 8 or 10 hours.
Yeah,
And
it's not that long. Yeah,
yeah,
I've
to
heard.
me, like that kind of persuaded me not to buy the game because when I'm spending that much money and I'm spending like I'm not somebody that can dedicate a ton of hours into gaming on like a regular basis, but I still want to get at least like 30, 40, 50 hours out. If you're spending $80, that's a good chunk of money. And like $80 for 8 hours of gameplay, I just couldn't like I couldn't justify it. So I
Yeah,
still haven't played it.
I I don't mind a short game, but if it's like a game that looks epic, it will. I want it to be longer
Yeah.
because I want that experience. But I have no problem with a short game. Also, if it's a short game, like the price should be a little bit lower. I'm not saying that short games don't deserve to have value, but at the same time, like you're paying for, you know, just a little bit of action,
And
you
it's
know?
like, Miles Morales, if it's only going to be 8 hours, they may as well have made it into like a DLC. Like, why create a brand new game? I guess like it makes sense. They want to make as much money as possible, but that kind of pushed me off of the franchise because I loved Spider-Man on the PS4. I think it's one of like it is one of my favorite games on that system. And then just to see how they went from like this robust 40 to 50 hour game down to 8 hours, and they're charging more for it. I'm like, this I can't. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I never got it. If I ever find it in like a lot in a pickup, I'll probably get it. But then beyond that, nothing. I don't see myself wanting it.
Are there any superhero games that you're anticipating? Because I know that there's a couple that are coming out.
Um, like I don't play a lot of superhero games. I
Oh,
remember on the PlayStation 1 I played Spider-Man and that was really fun. And then I played DC Universe Online on my PC. That was really cool. And
really?
yeah,
How long did you play that? Because that's an MMO.
yeah, I played that for like a couple of years, 1 or 2
Really?
years. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then after that, I think I probably played like is it Marvel Ultimate Alliance where it's kind of like Baldur's Gate?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's probably the last one I played prior to Spider-Man on the PS4.
That's a great series. I believe there's three of them now, and the third one came out exclusively on the Switch, which
Oh.
was really weird. But
I see like Marvel games and like those kind of games being more PlayStation.
yep,
So that was
yeah,
weird.
I have the first two Marvel Ultimate Alliances, and I think one of them I have on PS3. I think another one I have on the 360. but like you never see them on like a Nintendo console.
No.
So for the third one to be exclusively for the Switch was really, I don't know, really different. But yeah, they're really great games. They're like top down, kind of RPG in a way,
Yeah.
and recruit different characters and each have different moves and like you like beat a level and you gain new skills and you go back to your hub level and kind of rinse and repeat and there's just something fun about that.
Yeah. No, 100%. So
Okay,
we've
so
talked about superhero games, games that we like. What else? What else? What else is like the formula for you to really want to play a game or look forward to a game?
for honestly, it just it has to look fun. It has to look like something that I'm going to enjoy. If I'm watching a trailer for something and I, I say, wow, in my head, it can be saying it out loud or it can be in my head. If I'm saying, wow, that looks like a lot of fun, boom, it's already in there. Like Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
When I saw the gameplay for it, it was in um, it was I think it was a PS4, might have been an E3 conference. Maybe it was probably the PlayStation conference.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
And they showed like one of the scenes. And it looked amazing. It looked beautiful.
Yeah.
It looked fun. And it looked like something I'd get addicted to. And that's another thing. I want a game that I will not want to put down.
Yeah. I'm kind of like that too. And it's like I get really into a game and I'll spend a lot of hours into it. And then I take a break because something happens and like I'm getting too busy. So it's tough for me to do that. I think the one thing that brought me back to Spider-Man and the one thing that brought me back to God of War is once you pick up on the gameplay, it's not that tough to come back to it if you've taken a break. Like in Ghost of Tsushima, you have to understand about all of these different stances, how to quickly cycle through all of your secondary weapons. Um, but yeah, for me, it's like if the game has a good storyline, if I found the game interesting, and if it's a game that I can pick up and put down and still get back into it, then I'll be really interested. I found out what my niche is and games that I really enjoy are those open world. So for me, I've said it before, I have no problem replaying games. So one game that I'm looking forward to that's already out is Ghost of Tsushima on the PS5. Just because I want to get back into that. I want to beat it on hard mode. And that's my goal.
That one.
Yeah.
And also it's got all the DLC on it, like the
Yeah.
new is was it Iki Island or Urk Island?
I don't even know.
Iki Island, yeah, Iki Island story expansion.
So I haven't read any reviews. I haven't seen any trailers about this new one. So I'm trying to keep like as much of a blind focus as I can on it. So when I start, I'm gonna start it and I'm gonna play it on the hardest mode, and let's see where I get.
And speaking of reviews, like reviews also help me in determining if I want a game or not as well. Because an anticipated game can also be a game that just came out that I'm just learning about and I want to get like that. I would also consider that a game I'm anticipated in playing.
Yeah.
And one of the games that I was looking forward to playing was a smaller indie title called Kataria Fables.
Okay.
Did you ever play Cat Quest?
No, I did not.
So Cat Quest was like a action RPG. It's a lot more fun than it sounds. It's a little bit more challenging than it sounds as well. You are a cat, but you're fighting. You're fighting all these enemies. Traversing through the land. It's it's a top-down view.
One sec.
Yep. So anyways, yeah, back to Cat Quest, because Robin had something to take care of.
Yep.
It's a top-down action RPG with some satisfying combat. It's not overly complicated. You learn some magic. You find hidden like caves and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just a simple little quest kind of game. So Kataria Fables is their newest game by that same developer. I think it's PQube. Uh, it's it's yeah. So PQUBE did this new game coming out called Kataria Fables, which was a game that I was looking forward to playing, but I watched two reviews from two different like indie channels
Yeah.
who essentially said the same thing. It's not that good. It's a little repetitive. It's a little simple. And this was going to be different from Cat Quest because be an action RPG with some like farming elements as well.
Okay.
So it had some action RPG, but the farming wasn't that prevalent to the game, and the action RPG part wasn't that exciting because you weren't leveling up your character. You were leveling them up through like abilities that you would have to craft or learn, and the crafting took a while because the items took forever to grab. So bottom line, I'm not getting it now.
Okay.
I can't pre-order, and yeah, I'm not getting that. So reviews, that's how reviews are for me. Like I will not get a game if the review
Well, do
is
you typically
that.
go to, like, the big publication houses to get your reviews, like IGN, Kotaku, stuff like that?
I will watch an IGN review, but um, an IGN review will not determine it for me. But
Go after like your own. Do you have a select number of like reviewers that you trust that are smaller?
Mhm.
Nice.
There's a channel I like to watch called I Dream of Indie.
Okay.
They do a lot of like indie reviews for like lesser known games. Katari Fables was one of them.
Yeah.
There was another one that I used to enjoy watching that I won't say their name because I commented on something and they basically said, I asked them a question and they said, I already answered that many times in the
I think I
comments.
remember you posting about this on Facebook.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, didn't need that attitude. And I've stopped watching their channel.
Oh
I
man.
still I've subscribed to them still, but I'll probably unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Even just out of spite, I'm a little bothered by like how they treated me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I do like the bigger channels, but I also watch the smaller channels as well. You know, try to give
Yeah.
everybody an opportunity to give me an idea. Now,
Yeah.
I don't always go on reviews to determine if I'm going to get a game or not, but
Yeah.
sometimes if it sounds like what they're saying is accurate, it does like help me in making a decision.
Nice. So I am not somebody that looks at reviews a lot, and that's probably one of the reasons why I don't like following trailers or any sort of like spoilers. For me, it's, do I find this interesting? If I find it interesting, I'm just gonna dive in and see whatever happens. So, well, maybe I guess I do listen to some level of reviews because it's very rare that I'll buy a game on launch day. So Ghost of Tsushima is probably the only exception. But aside from that, usually I'll see people on the Facebook feed post that, hey, they're playing this game and they're really enjoying it, or it's not as good as they thought it was. And then you get a better sense because it's like these are just people you know, so you know that there's nobody really behind influencing their opinion at all. And if it's people that I trust, like if I see you post something up and you're like, hey, I finished this game, it was a ton of fun, then I'd be like, okay, I'll check this game out. Um, so for me, reviews, like typical reviews, I don't really put a lot of weight on, but like if it's people that I know personally, then I'll put a lot of weight to it.
And also, it's not so much watching the review as so much watching the gameplay that
Okay.
kind of helps me in determining my decision.
Okay. Nice.
The review is saying, you know, it's not that fun, but I'm watching the gameplay and it looks still fun to me.
Yeah.
I'd still give it a shot.
Nice. That's sweet. So maybe we want to go through a couple of other games that we're really looking forward to, and then we can see where we get. So give me a couple other titles that you really like.
That I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
So, there's a company called Arcane Industries
Okay.
who I think they're a subsidiary of Bethesda.
Okay.
And they do a lot of like interesting. They did oh my god, I always blank out when we're talking.
Fallout.
They did Prey.
Okay.
Prey was a first person action RPG sci-fi game, which was a lot of fun. They did oh my god, the game where you're an assassin, not Assassin's Creed, but the other one.
Assassins. I don't know.
Oh my god,
It's Bethesda.
no, it's Arcane. Arkane. It's embarrassing because it's a game
Deathloop.
Sorry.
Is it Deathloop?
Well, Deathloop is the one I'm talking about, but
Dishonored.
Dishonored, yeah.
Okay.
There we go. See, and it's something that we've all heard of, but for some reason, it faded from my mind.
Yeah.
Like, and I knew what it was when we were, talking earlier, but for some reason I forgot its name. They did Dishonored, which was another like first person kind of interesting assassin game where you kind of could traverse the level like any way you wanted to. And the new one that's coming out is Deathloop. And the interesting thing about this is that it seems like it's a roguelike in a way where you have a certain time limit to, I think it's the way the trailers are showing, you have like a certain time limit to kill. It's like seven, maybe it's either 6, 7, or 8 different people who are all like killers, who are all also trying to kill you at the same time.
Okay.
And if you die, you start back over again. But I think with things that you've learned along the way, and I'm not sure if there's leveling up or not, but it seems really, really interesting in the way it's being done. Like, and even with like the skills that you can do, there's like a lot of stealth to it. There's some really cool kills. There's really cool like combat. You have different weapons that you can use.
Okay.
It just looks really, really interesting. But yeah, like the gimmick is that the clock starts back at 0 every time you die.
That's like that new movie that came out with the guy from The Purge. It's like every time he dies, he goes back to waking up. Like the moment he wakes up, and then the day starts again.
That's a Groundhog Day.
Is that what Groundhog Day is about?
Well, he doesn't die, but
okay.
Like I think it's every time the day ends for him, the day starts over.
Oh, that would be such a mind fuck. It's like you don't even get to sleep. That would be so messed up. Okay, nice. So you got that one on the go. Anything else?
Well, what about you?
For me, let me see. I had a list of stuff that I liked. Where to go? So I already talked about God of War Valhalla. Oh, a big one that I'm really looking forward to, and this isn't thanks to you, is Horizon Forbidden West. So I loved Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm not sure if you saw, but like I picked up 2 copies of that game sealed, just because we know I love sealed stuff. So I got a collector's edition, I got a regular edition, and I'm looking forward to this new Horizon game that's coming out. If they have a collector's edition, I'll buy that. Or if they come out with like a special edition PS5, that's probably going to be my entry into like the next generation of gaming.
A Horizon Forbidden West PS5 sounds amazing.
Yeah. Like that production house, they do a really, really good job with their marketing. So I'm hoping that they come out with it, and that way I can get a PS5 and I can get a game that I'm really looking forward to.
Now, you said you don't like trailers. Did you see the trailer?
Nope,
Wow.
haven't seen anything. And I have
It,
this one guy that's on my Insta feed, and he's probably a bigger Horizon fan than me, and he's always posting Horizon stuff. So whenever I'm on his story, I'm just like skip, skip, skip. Yeah, I can't watch trailers. If it's something I really like, I want to just be fully immersed in it on my own.
Horizon Forbidden West looks really good. Like
Yeah,
with the new creatures that they're introducing,
interesting.
um, some of the new skills that you have in combat, in traversal.
So did you
Um,
watch a gameplay trailer or did you watch a cinematic?
yeah, I watched the gameplay trailer for it a couple months ago. It
Nice.
looked
Other than that, I don't really have anything that I'm like really looking forward to, but I'm scrolling through most anticipated games of 2021, and it's interesting that there's a Age of Empires 4 coming out.
Did you were you an Ages of Empire fan?
Oh, 100% through and through. I used to play that game so much, like Age of Empires, Age of Mythologies. I used to play with my friends, used to play it online. It was a ton of fun.
It's a simulation strategy.
Yeah, yeah. So similar to like StarCraft, but set in like medieval times.
Right on.
Yeah, yeah. So
No,
those are the biggest ones for me. Anything else on your radar? While my
absolutely. It's probably on the same list that you're looking at right now. And this one is one I wanted to talk about. You know, when we were coming up with this idea of most anticipated games, and that's Kenna Bridge of Spirits.
Mm,
Now, if you look at it right now, you can see what type of game it is. It looks like it's a Zelda like with like some like magic or some sort of use of spirits to traverse and like combat or do
graphics look
combat.
really good.
It it's coming out for the PS5, and I remember seeing the trailer for it. I think it was during the PS5 reveal,
Hmm.
uh, and it like intrigued me right away. It was one of those games. It was like Ghost of Tsushima in a way,
Yeah,
where when I first saw Ghost of Tsushima, I knew right away that I wanted to play it.
I
When I
think
saw
I want to play this too.
when I saw Kenna Bridge of Spirits, I knew right away that I wanted to play this as well because it looks like a lot of fun. And once again, even though we're talking about it, I will show gameplay
Yeah,
on the screen. So people will be able to see it. You'll see what
yeah,
type of game it is because it looks really neat. You
yeah.
know, it's just like another Zelda like in a way or like action RPG, but um it looks like a really fun, interesting world, like a really magical world to
I do
explore.
like that. I saw the photos and it looks really nice. It's also cool to see another female protagonist.
That's always, you know, when I play games that let you choose between a male and a female, I
Mm.
usually pick a female.
No, I didn't know that. So like
Did
Fallout,
that
you pick a female.
I did that with Immortals Phoenix Rising. Immortals Phoenix Rising, you can choose a male or a female. I
Yeah,
went with female.
I usually always go with a male, but like when I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn, I was totally fine playing as the protagonist in that game. I think
Yeah,
people's mentalities are shifting, and it's nice. Like it's not no longer just Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. We have a lot of other really nice, strong protagonists that people can like draw to when it comes to strong like gaming characters.
yep, absolutely. There is another game that I'm looking forward to. Unfortunately, it's a game that we know nothing about. And
Okay.
that doesn't usually happen with me. I don't usually get not excited because I'm not excited for it.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to it when it eventually comes out. And that is Metroid Prime 4.
Oh,
The
Metroid.
only thing we have is a logo.
Is it Dread? This is not Dread, right? This is something totally different.
No, it's not Dread. Metroid Dread
Oh,
is
this is
is
cool.
a different game.
But Metroid Prime 4, it only has a 3.7 star rating on Best Buy, and the game's not even out. What the hell is
Yeah,
that?
that's just people being people. That's just people being angry about things. I'm sure if you look at the reviews, they'll be like, "Why isn't this game out yet?
Yeah.
Why are we just getting a logo?" I don't know. That's always been par for the course. Like that's why I don't like looking at user reviews. I try
Okay.
to veer more towards um, professional reviews.
Okay. So I see now why it has a 3.7 star rating. And the reason being is um, one person has a 5 star rating saying, I have high hopes. Came out on September 22, 2019. Then we have somebody on October 26, 2020. They gave it a 5 star review, but said, no, I would not recommend this to a friend. And then we have our culprit, June 5th, 2020, just gave a 1 star review and did not provide any sort of a review whatsoever, just gave it a rating and goodbye.
Why don't you give it a review right now, Robin?
Yeah,
Give
let
it
me
a 5 star review and just be like, this game good.
review title: Sprites, Bytes, and Pixels brought me here.
Yeah, dude.
Game good, great. And the way that I spelled great is like GR8. Let's see if this goes through.
I'm gonna lose my voice. That's really funny. Oh man.
Would I recommend this to a friend? Yes. Quality, excellent. Value, excellent. Ease of use, excellent. Submit a review.
Oh, so good.
Let's see. I've never done a Best Buy review before, so let's see if this goes through. And if we can bump that Metroid rating up.
Yeah, let's hope for that because I think it deserves that.
Yeah. It does not deserve a 3.7 star when it hasn't even come out yet.
No, that's mean.
Yeah. Okay, well, I left my review. I'll let everybody know how it goes.
Excellent. So there's another game I wanted you to look up as well. This was another game that intrigued me during the PS5 reveal.
What is that?
That is Little Devil Inside.
Little Devil Inside?
Yeah, this was another game that like really, really intrigued me, and it's just in the way that the characters look. They're like,
You love your open world, eh?
yeah, it's another kind of. It looks like Zelda in a
Yeah.
way, but just in the way that the world looks, it's very like Tim Burton-ish in a way
Yeah,
with like
I can see
stop
that.
motion or clay. Um, they didn't show a lot about the game, but they showed enough for it to look intriguing to me.
It's a very unique animation style. It reminds me of like cell shaded games back on the GameCube.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. The funny thing about games that I get anticipated for, usually I get more anticipated for um, indie games than I do like AAA titles.
Yeah.
So when I get excited for games, it's usually like the lesser known games,
Mhm.
like my Guitar.
They're pretty lesser known. They don't have a ton of hype around them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
What about Far Cry?
I'm not a big Far Cry fan. Never really
No.
got into it. Nah. I love Uncharted. So I got into Uncharted, and I think that's what I'm gonna play next, is after I beat God of War. I think I finished Uncharted 1 and 2, so I might go back and start Uncharted 1 and then beat the entire thing from like Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 4, because now I'm going to be fun employed. So I have a lot more free time for me to do stuff. So next time when we start doing our conversation, I'll be like, hey, Wilson, I just beat instead of I played.
I've played the first three. I
It's
have the
such a
fourth
great
one.
franchise, man. It's so much fun.
It's really good. Like when I think of Uncharted, I think of Uncharted 2
Yeah.
with the train section.
I don't remember that off the top of my head.
It's like a whole level where you're on a train.
It's been a while since I played it.
Dude,
Let's see. Uncharted 2. Train.
dude. Uncharted 2 with the train is, I don't know, it's one of the best levels for a game.
It rings a bell. I see the photos, and I remember falling down and having to climb back up, but
in playing that level, I felt like I was in an action movie.
The whole game is like an action movie.
I do wish that there was another Uncharted coming out. Although
There's an Uncharted movie coming out, Tom Holland.
yeah, I know, but are you anticipating that?
No, I mean, like, I take a look at. We already talked about this. How more and more production houses are open to doing video game movies or video game TV shows. We see this with The Witcher. They came out with a series, then they came out with a movie. I just saw Dante's Inferno, which I thought was not very good. It's pretty
The
boring.
anime?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Did you notice with that anime that it was different styles? And it was done on purpose.
Oh,
I think it was 7 different styles. So like it would start with one and
Yeah.
then it would move to another style, and then it would move to another style. So like as the movie progressed,
yeah.
it would shift to a different style and just stay there.
I noticed like he looked very different from like some hell to the next hell, but did not notice that. No.
Yeah, I believe you're right. With each ring that he entered, like each ring of hell that he entered, the anime style would shift.
Yeah, we've come a long way from the blood rains of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I saw the Monster Hunter movie, and that's like another game that there's a new version of this game coming out. And for me, I've never played Monster Hunter. I might have tried it initially, and I never got into it. And now it's this massive franchise. It's got movies, but I don't see myself ever playing another Monster Hunter game.
I think a lot of people like Monster Hunter because it requires, or it's better with friends. It's one of those games where
Okay.
you're better with like more people. It's more fun with like a crowd than by yourself.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I mean, we were able to cover a good chunk of stuff. I do have to cut this a little bit shorter because I have to head out. But we were able to talk about some of our most anticipated games. And if you guys have any that we weren't able to touch on, please feel free to drop those into the comments. And as Wilson always says, we are still doing a giveaway, but we haven't reached 100 subscribers yet. So don't forget to subscribe. And while you're subscribing, don't forget to like and comment. And hopefully we can start getting maybe like 15, 20 views per video instead of like 10, 12.
We'll get there.
We'll get there one day. One day, fingers crossed. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in episode 28. Peace.
Bye-bye.